Training a poodle to perform cool tricks is an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and heartwarming moments that create an unbreakable bond between pet and owner. My journey began one sunny afternoon when I brought home a fluffy, cream-colored poodle named Charlie. He was a bundle of energy, with big, expressive eyes that sparkled with curiosity. From the moment he bounded into my life, I knew I wanted to teach him some impressive tricks that would showcase his intelligence and charm. Poodles are known for their intelligence and eagerness to please, which made me optimistic about the training ahead. I began by researching various training techniques, diving into books and online resources that promised effective methods for teaching dogs. I quickly learned that positive reinforcement was the key to successful training. This meant rewarding Charlie with treats, praise, and affection whenever he performed a desired behavior. The idea was simple. The more I rewarded him, the more motivated he would be to learn. With a handful of small, tasty treats in my pocket, I started with the basics. The first trick I wanted to teach Charlie was sit. I called him over, showing him a treat and raising it above his head. As he looked up, I gently pushed his bottom down while saying the command, "Sit." At first, he was more interested in the treat than in following my instructions. He jumped around, barking excitedly, and I couldn't help but laugh at his antics. But I remained patient, repeating the process until he finally sat down, albeit briefly. The moment he did, I showered him with praise and gave him the treat. His tail wagged furiously, and I could see the wheels turning in his head, understanding that sitting meant rewards. Over the next few days, we practiced sit repeatedly. Each time he complied, I celebrated with enthusiasm, reinforcing the behavior. Soon, Charlie began to associate the command with the action, and he would sit on cue. It was a small victory, but it filled me with joy. The bond between us deepened as we worked together, and I could sense his excitement to learn more. Encouraged by our success, I decided to tackle the next trick: shake hands. I sat on the floor with Charlie, holding a treat in my hand. I gently lifted one of his paws, saying, "Shake." At first, he was confused, pulling his paw back and looking at me with a quizzical expression. It was clear that he didn't understand what I wanted him to do. I tried again, lifting his paw and offering the treat as a reward. After several attempts, he finally lifted his paw on his own, and I was over the moon. I praised him extravagantly, and he bounced around, clearly pleased with himself. However, not every training session went smoothly. There were days when Charlie seemed distracted, more interested in chasing shadows or barking at passing cars than focusing on our training. I learned quickly that consistency was crucial. I created a daily routine, setting aside dedicated time for training. We practiced in short bursts, keeping sessions fun and engaging. I discovered that if I pushed him too hard or for too long, he would lose interest, so I learned to read his cues and adapt our training accordingly. One afternoon, I decided to take our training outside. I thought the fresh air and new environment might invigorate Charlie's spirits. I set up a small obstacle course using cones and tunnels I had purchased. The goal was to teach him to navigate the course while performing tricks at each station. I was excited about this new approach, but I quickly realized that the outside world was full of distractions. The rustling leaves, chirping birds, and the distant sounds of children playing captured Charlie's attention. He darted off, chasing after a butterfly, completely ignoring my calls. Frustrated but determined, I tried to redirect his focus. I called him back, using treats to entice him. I realized that I needed to make the training more exciting for him. Instead of simply asking him to perform tricks, I decided to turn our sessions into a game. I introduced a new command: come. I would call him excitedly, rewarding him when he returned to me. Slowly, he began to understand that returning to me would lead to fun and treats, and his focus started to shift back to our training. As we worked through the obstacles, Charlie began to shine. He tackled the course with enthusiasm, weaving through cones and darting through the tunnel. Each time he completed a section, I cheered him on, and he basked in my praise. It was a joyful moment, watching him thrive and enjoy the training process. I felt a sense of pride as I realized that we were building not only his skills, but also his confidence. As the weeks passed, we progressed to more advanced tricks. Roll over was next on my list. I laid Charlie down on his side, holding a treat near his nose and guiding him to roll over. At first, he simply rolled onto his back, looking up at me with an expectant gaze. I chuckled, realizing he was eager for the treat, but not entirely understanding the command. With patience, I kept guiding him, using my hand to encourage him to complete the roll. After several attempts, he finally rolled over completely, and I erupted in cheers. His excitement was contagious, and I felt a rush of joy as we celebrated this new achievement together. However, not every trick came easily. Teaching Charlie to play dead proved to be a challenge. I wanted him to lie still on command, but he was far too energetic and playful for that. I decided to break it down into smaller steps. First, I got him to lie down, then I would gently roll him onto his side, saying "bang," as I pretended to shoot him with my finger. It was a silly gesture, but it made him perk up and engage with the command. After many attempts and a few moments of sheer silliness, he finally understood what I wanted. The first time he lay still, I was ecstatic. I couldn't stop laughing as I praised him, and he responded with his signature tail wag. As we continued our training journey, I realized that the challenges we faced were just as important as the successes. Each struggle taught me more about Charlie's personality and learning style. I learned to be adaptable, to celebrate small victories, and to find joy in the process rather than just the end result. The moments of frustration were overshadowed by laughter and shared joy, and I cherished our time together. One evening, as the sun began to set, I decided to take our training session to the park. I wanted to show off Charlie's newfound skills to my friends who had gathered for a picnic. As I arrived, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. I set up a small area and began to demonstrate Charlie's tricks. He performed sit, shake, and roll over flawlessly, and my friends cheered him on. The laughter and applause filled the air, and I could see how proud Charlie was to be the center of attention. It was a moment of pure joy, sharing our hard work with others and witnessing the happiness it brought. As we wrapped up the session, I decided to introduce a new trick. Spin. I held a treat in front of Charlie and guided him in a circle, encouraging him to follow the treat with his nose. At first, he was a bit confused, but with a little persistence, he caught on. The first time he spun in a complete circle, I was thrilled. His joy was palpable as he pranced around, eager to show off his new skill. I felt a sense of accomplishment as I realized that our training had not only taught him tricks, but had also strengthened our bond. With each passing day, Charlie continued to amaze me with his quick learning and eagerness to please. We moved on to more complex tricks, like jump through a hoop and dance. Each new challenge brought us closer together, and I found myself looking forward to our training sessions as much as Charlie did. The laughter, the playful nudges, and the shared moments of triumph became the highlights of my days. As the months rolled on, Charlie transformed into a little trickster, impressing everyone with his skills. I decided to enter him in a local dog talent show, excited to showcase our hard work. We spent weeks preparing, refining his tricks, and practicing in front of friends who cheered us on. The day of the show arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. The park was filled with dogs of all shapes and sizes, each with their own unique talents. When it was our turn to perform, I felt a rush of adrenaline. I called Charlie to me, and as he executed each trick flawlessly, the crowd erupted in applause. The joy on his face was infectious, and I couldn't help but smile. The final trick was a grand finale. Charlie would jump through a hoop and then spin in a circle. As he completed the sequence, the audience went wild, and I felt a swell of pride. We had come so far together, and this moment was a testament to our hard work and dedication. After the performance, we received a ribbon for participating, but more importantly, we gained a deeper understanding of each other. The challenges we faced, the laughter we shared, and the moments of triumph all contributed to a bond that was unbreakable. Charlie was no longer just a pet. He was my partner, my confidant, and my best friend. As I reflect on our journey, I realized that training Charlie was about more than just teaching tricks. It was about patience, understanding, and the joy of shared experiences. Each session brought us closer, and every challenge became an opportunity for growth. The cool tricks we learned were merely a reflection of the love and dedication we poured into our training. In the end, it wasn't just about the tricks. It was about the memories we created together, the laughter that filled our home, and the joy that radiated from our bond. Charlie taught me to appreciate the little things, to find joy in the journey, and to embrace the challenges that come our way. Together, we discovered that the real magic lies not in the tricks themselves, but in the love and connection we built along the way.